Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 45 of the Duke London podcast. I'm here with Max, Silk Boogie. You may know him as. How are you, bro?
Good, man. Can't complain.
Sick.
Yeah.
So we saw each other when in Birmingham recently, and then Dance Your Star, I guess.
Dance Your Star, yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, just thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
I thought it would be a good chat to have, and we talked a bit in Birmingham about the stuff that you're doing, and I thought it was exciting. So yeah, just thought I'd find a bit more else about you, and yeah, chat a bit. How did you actually, before we get on to more about you, how did you find Dance Your Style? Just because I just spoke to Jordan about it last week.
I knew this was going to be the first question.
Go on, we got to start there.
Like writing down answers, like, oh, can I say this? Nah, it's such a good event, man. I feel like I was expecting to get there and it to be like everyone was kind of not going to talk to each other, and it was like everyone was going to be serious because there's this mad prize or whatever.
Yeah.
But everyone was so nice. Like I met a lot of people that I got a chance to speak to a lot of people that I didn't really like connect with before. Like Chantel, I'd never spoken to.
Okay.
Jordan, I spoke to a bit, but like not much. So it was just a really cool day. Like we all went for food and like.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I think I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to be like serious, like everyone was warming up and not speaking to each other, kind of thing. But it was like the opposite. Like I didn't feel when I got there, I didn't feel any pressure to like do anything.
Oh, that's good.
Necessarily, you know.
Yeah.
I had like a back injury, and I still have a back injury, so it was. It's one of them of like, oh, instead of like I'm gonna like just smash this event and enjoy it, like. I was like, I'm just gonna have to try and get through all these rounds, you know, because
without hurting yourself.
Yeah. Or no, I already hurt myself, so I was just like, I'm already in pain. Like I've just got to like let adrenaline kind of do its thing, which I know is stupid, but it is what it is.
I mean, to an extent, I guess it's stupid if you have a bone sticking out your leg and like I got one more round in me.
Yeah. So yeah, but it was so cool, man. Like I didn't expect it to be like it was.
Oh,
and it was like a really cool experience, you know. Sick. I mean, I'm pissed because I wanted to win. But it was sick, man. Like, it was good, you know.
No, that's fair though. I guess also once it's like, yeah, it's a good vibe, but like I guess once you're on the stage, you're like, nah, I want to win it.
Yeah, 100. Like I think, to be honest with you, if I'm like so honest with myself, I kind of had a feeling that Jordan was gonna win, because he just like the whole day he just looked.
He was like in his element.
Yeah, like he was just going through people, you know what I mean? And I really felt the crowd on his side. But like, I'm obviously I'm gonna try and win, and I wanted to win.
Yeah.
And then when that song came on, I was like, oh.
Which one, Pal?
Yeah.
Did you hear the podcast last week?
Yeah.
Was it true that you didn't know it?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
It's so bad because I battled Kareem. Special K.
Oh yeah.
I battled Kareem to that song in a tiebreaker in Scotland, and the same thing happened to me. Like, I didn't know the song, so I was just like,
fair. How old are you?
I'm 23.
So how old were you in 2004? Young.
I mean, I should know this song. Like it's a classic.
No, but it is one of them. Like I have that with a few battle tracks. You know, it's like everybody knows the track because it's played so much. But I just, for some reason, I didn't like it, or it didn't hit with me. So then, if I get it in a battle, I'm like, oh, I should have listened to this song.
Yeah, but all the same, you know, like. Because I was saying that to myself, like on the train back, like, oh,
if I had just listened,
you know, but then I shouldn't need to listen to the song before to do something to it. Like, I remember the feeling, like, because I like my first round and I like my second round. I like my second round the best.
Is that the one that Jordan was talking about, the blinding?
Yeah, that was my
really
favorite round I did against in the whole of because I've watched the battles back.
Yeah,
I think I only liked like maybe 3 of my rounds. I didn't like most of them. I liked my very first round.
Yeah.
And then
who was you against at the beginning?
So bad, I forgot her name. That's gonna live forever now as well.
That's all right.
True.
Oh, True. Yeah.
True. Yeah. She's sick as well, by the way. But I like my rounds against her, and then that's kind of it, really.
Okay.
I think an Amy Winehouse song came on, and I liked that round.
Oh yeah, that was a nice round as well.
But then when that song came on, because it's like a London song, and I'm not really from London.
Right.
So I was just like, oh no, what do I like? Yeah. I'm gonna have to do something. And I know the feeling. I think everyone knows the feeling all too well when like you're not your nerves get to you, but you just start you're like, right, they went mad, so I'm gonna have to go mad, and
like overthinking almost.
100%, yeah, like just too in my own head, like, oh, I've got to do this trick. Like I did some garbage with my hat. I have no idea why I did that. I look at it back, and you can see my face. If you watch my face, like at the end, you can see in my eye, I know that I've lost, like,
Right.
and I felt it happen as well. Like I felt
Yeah.
myself lose in that last round. I felt it. So I'm annoyed, but like, fucking fair play to it. Can I swear on this?
Yeah. Of course. I mean, it's more for you if you don't want to hear people
I
to hear
can
you swear. I don't mind.
But yeah, he smashed it, man. He deserved it. And like,
that's the killer about battles. It's like, because I guess I don't know if you would see yourself as someone who's like, I feel like you're pretty consistent as a battler from what I've seen of you, but I know some people are more like, let's say internally consistent or inconsistent. Like if they're not feeling it, you can see it, and if they're feeling it, you can really see it. And I think a battler like that, you get more highs and lows, but the highs are really high, Whereas like there's some people that are like, they're not my favorite dancer in the world, but I'm like, I'd put money on them in a battle. Do you know what I mean? Because they're just the same every time. So I'll be able to bet whether they're going to win or lose just based on who else is there. But I guess that's also kind of the thing, is like the same part of you that maybe didn't feel it to power or got in your head or something is also the same part of you that can make magic in another round to another song. You know?
Yeah.
Like some people would have struggled on that Amy Winehouse song, but for you, it brought something different out of you and made it dope.
Yeah,
No,
I hear that. But
you're like, but I didn't win. But you're like, well, I wanted to go to South Africa.
Yeah. Of course, man. But like I said, like something about the way that he was dancing that day, I was like you've got it. Like I just know. And when that last round, like I can just see in his face, like, oh, he's
going for
doing it, and like I said, like it's a bit like if you're in football and you're like 2-1 down, and you probably have a feeling that you might lose, but you're not gonna stop playing. You know what I mean?
Of course,
you're still gonna try and go.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, man, on to the next, I guess.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But it's a sick event. Like shout out to Red Bull, because like we were looked after as well. Like they like got us drinks and that. We had this like goodie bag and stuff, and I'm not used to that. Even being an invite at like some foreign events, I'm not used to that level of like treatment. Like taking us out for food and ice cream and all that stuff. So,
100%. And I think like with events and stuff, it's like some events have money. Like Red Bull have money, of course, to put into this event, and so do other events. But it's like there's places that you need to put the money, like there's a right place, and I think, okay, you can have, fly in 50 guests from overseas and spend all your money on stuff like that or whatever, but it's like at the end of the day, if people walk away from your event, like how you feel about, it being a great event and all the behind the scenes stuff that you're saying about like, it was a good atmosphere. Red Bull took care of you. Like they made it a good experience. But like, I feel like that as an audience member, like they didn't make it too long. Like the experience was nice. The way the setup was, so I think it's like they put the money in the right places as opposed to just making it a big, huge event. They were like, we're going to make the experience good. And now what happens is we all walk away going, oh, like Red Bull are dope. And, we feel good about it. So I think that's super important, especially.
I also feel like there was people in the audience that didn't dance. Yeah. And I don't usually experience that at dance events. Yeah. Usually, like, it's not to say that it doesn't happen, but like most of the time, especially in London events, I'm like, I kind of know everyone here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. I felt like there was people that were coming up to me that clearly didn't dance, and they were just like, oh, like even a woman on the train when I was on the train home spoke to me, and I was like,
she saw you at the event.
Yeah. And like sick. she definitely didn't dance, so and then she does.
Yeah, she's like trying her hardest.
I hope not.
She's at class every week.
It didn't seem to me that she danced, and there was definitely people there that were just going to a Red Bull event, like just
Yeah, and I think even the people that maybe did dance, there was like, let's say there's like 50% of the people that I knew, and then there was like another maybe 20-30% who I'm like, I know you, but I never see you at events, or like you're from like the choreo scene or this or that. So it kind of like brought everyone together, and then like you said, there's the people that don't dance. It's like a different crowd, I think.
100%, and it's like you said, like they made it like it was a good event to be at if you weren't just to watch, like, because there was no prelim, there was nothing. Everyone was just watching a show basically. So like they had the bar and like they knew what they were doing, and I think, I mean, you've probably mentioned it quite a lot of times on this, but like Not to say that that doesn't exist in like
Yeah.
our event circuit, but like it is missing a little bit, because
Yeah.
I've been to so many events where I'm like, I couldn't take my mum to this. Like, no disrespect, but like
100%. No, it's true.
it's just like, I don't know, there's, you know, like people smoking weed everywhere, and like,
Yep.
not to say that that's necessarily a bad thing, but like,
I mean, in the sense that it's illegal in this country, whether or not you agree with weed, it's kind of like, it just causes issues, because it's like, then what happens if the venue complain about the smell? You know what I mean? Like, there's all
Exactly.
sorts of, if it's, you know, if we're in a country where it's legal, that's, you know, we're not talking about whether weed is right or wrong, but in terms of like people following the rules, or whether you can, like, you can't put your bag down for 5 seconds because you're worried it'll get stolen. Do you know what I mean? Or like even other stuff where it's like, why am I sitting on the floor cross-legged like I'm in a primary school assembly? Do you know what I mean? Like, can we get some chairs?
Yeah,
Like, or at least like, you know, Red Bull had like a standing thing and then different bleachers and stuff. And I think it's hard because not everything, you need money to solve some of these problems, you know, but not all of them. Like, there's a way to be like, all right, the prelims are going to run from this time to this time, and then the show starts at 7.
Yeah,
so everyone come for 7, you know?
I went to Art of Popping in Poland,
Okay.
and that's the way they did it. Like,
Right.
so basically you had, I don't know, like everyone turned up for prelims, which was obviously a lot of people. It was
yeah.
like 200 poppers or something. So like everyone turned up for prelims, and then there was a big break, like maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then they just did the battles.
Right.
And for the battles, loads
More
of different
people
people came, like spectators, and it was in a bar. There was like a bar attached, so people came to the bar and then realized what was going on and bought tickets.
Sick.
And the way they did that event was like, I mean, I'm assuming they made money from it because there was loads of people there.
Yeah.
But it was really smart because they had like the prelim in the day, and then in the evening it all kicked off, and they like changed the stage a little bit, and like they had some performances before to kick it all off, and then they had someone explaining all the rules, and like it was a similar thing of like, okay, like I'd understand coming just to watch this event because it's like well put together, and like there was like a backstage area for us, etc. And
yeah, definitely.
I think prelims in the day is a good idea because
I always talk about Battle Bad because in Paris, because they do 2 days, and the first day is just a prelim day, and maybe I think they do like, if they need to do like a top 16 battle or something, or top 32 even, it's like the first round of battle, kind of like the qualifiers for Dance Your Style, where it's like everyone qualifies on that day. But the Saturday of Battle Bad is in a different venue completely, and it's like, it's just the hot, sweaty cypher day. So it's like you have the prelims going on there, but like everyone's there ciphering in the back, and it's just where you like, you go in your crappy clothes and you like just sweat your ass off and cipher, do your prelim, hang out, and that's like the dancer day. And then Sunday is exactly what you said, like Art of Popping. It's like, it's a stage, it's all like set up, so if you didn't get through, you don't have to sit through the rest of the battles in your sweaty t-shirt, you know, like you can come the next day in clothes, or even for the battlers, like they can come in their different outfit or whatever. There's a whole stage, there's performances, and I think it's just this like, this idea of making the audience experience not horrendous, because it's like this model, I think, of prelims straight into battle and having multiple styles comes from when battles were really small. So it's like, you know, when I first started, it's like hip hop barely had a prelim. Like, we'd be lucky if there was a hip hop prelim, because it's like, oh, there's 8 people here, just go for it. And then, you know, popping would have more, breaking would have more. But it's like, you can then, if you've got 11 people in the popping prelims and then 12 in the breaking, cool, let's run prelims and go straight through to the top 8s. But now we're having like 50 plus. If you want to do more than one style, that's
you got to have a prelim.
Do you know what I mean? Or they do this dumb thing where they try and fit everything in, and then they're like, all right, 30-second prelims. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's like, now you're fucking with our experience of the event because you don't have the venue for enough time, or are not running to time. And I think it's like, people try and, put it this way. Like, I super disagree with the idea of making it either the dancers or the audience's problem if you as an event didn't plan properly. Like, so they'll be like, oh, well, we have to cut the finals to 1 round, 30 seconds each because we're running behind time. It's like, that's not my problem that you're running behind time. You know, why did you have to do 5 styles and do all
get
the
like
prelims?
a 3-way final and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's like, you messed up. That's not our problem. Like, and then they just, you know, I guess, what can we do? Like, boycott the event and say we're not dancing or whatever. But it's like, I just think it's like, okay, if you step back and if you've been to more than 2 events, you're like, right, we have 5 styles, we have 3 hours, it's not enough time. Let's cut this down to 2 styles or whatever. But I guess, you know, the problem is like, by the time it gets to that, they already have our ticket money. and we're already in the building. So
And more styles means more tickets. Because,
Exactly.
you know, if you're going to do just popping, you're going to get some people. But if you're going to do popping, hip-hop, house, all-stars, and breaking, like,
Yeah.
you're attracting all these different audiences. I think that's the reason they do it.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
But
And my other issue with events is when the prelims aren't given, like they're just rushed through. And like I said, like 30-second prelims or something. Because if you're like, okay, Just to Boo, where you have like 16,000 fans, like that, the spectators are paying for your event, right? In a normal event, you've got maybe like, I don't know, let's say 50 people in a prelim, times that by like 3, right? So you've got 150 people that entered prelims, and your capacity is like 300, let's say, and it might not even fill that. So, and then you've got crew and stuff. So more than half of the people that paid to enter your event are the prelims, but you're catering your entire event to the top 8.
yeah.
It's like, even if I didn't get through it, it means I'm paying for your event by entering this prelim. So it's like, you should give them their moment, I think, you know, and like it should be made like a thing. And then, but yeah, there's a lot wrong with events.
It's hard in them situations as well, because I don't know, if there's not a whole bag of time, like you said, and they give you short prelims, the chances are that like the people that are gonna get through are gonna be the people with a name, because if you have to pick 8 people from 300, like you're gonna pick the people you remember, and most of the time it's the people that already have a name behind them, or a reputation behind them. Yeah,
100%.
I know that's how it is anyway, a little bit, but like it just, the shorter the prelim time, the more it makes it like that, because you don't get to see, new people might not get through because you don't get to see someone that you don't recognize, you know.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's like, I think judging arts as a competition is never going to be 100% fair, but the least we can do is try. Like, we can try and make it a bit more like, okay, you have your 1 minute, we all, you know, do it. I even think, I've been saying this for a while, and I might do something about it one day, but like, I feel like, you know, when you judge a battle and you all write your notes and stuff, right? And then you usually, like, for anyone that's listening that doesn't know how battle judging is done, everyone does the prelims. Everyone kind of writes some sort of note down, whether it's like a mark out of 10 or a mark out of 5 or something. And then you go backstage, the 3 judges discuss, and they say, right, what did you get for number 1? I got an 8. Oh, I gave him a 6. Okay, cool. And we put our top 8 based on those numbers, right? I think you should film the prelims, and immediately, as soon as you go back, stick the memory card in the computer and have them look at the footage. Because if I've had it so many times, even in small event, I haven't judged anything huge, and I've had it where it's like, oh, like number 42, what did you get? Oh, I got an 8. Oh, I gave them a 3. And then it's like, who was that person?
The same guy?
Yeah, and we're like, oh, we don't know. But then we just guess and go, well, I guess they didn't get through because like we both gave them a 3. Why can't we watch it back? You know what I mean? Or if there's
that's true.
a discussion, just say, let's look at the prelim and be like, oh, yeah. Like exactly.
Video assistant referee, man.
And it's not that hard to do. I've done it, like, you know, being someone that films, just get a GoPro. Just see, it doesn't have to be the highest quality. We just have to be able to look back at the round to refresh.
Red jacket or blue hat,
exactly.
Whatever. Yeah, that makes sense, man.
Just for the sake of the dancers getting it properly considered. You know what I mean? It's like, imagine you sweat your like heart out trying to impress the judges, and they're like, I don't really remember. Let's not put him through. It's like, oh, come on, man. You know. Anyway, all that aside, what were we even talking about? Red Bull.
Yeah, Red Bull. Red Bull was good, basically.
Yeah. All of this to say
it was
Red
good,
Bull was
but
good.
I'm annoyed.
No. I hear you, bro. Like, there's no masking being pissed about, especially a big prize thing. It's annoying.
I'm never gonna enjoy losing. Like I said, like I can't remember who I was speaking to about it, but like it's such an, I have like an unhealthy like relationship with losing.
Really?
I'm not sure it's unhealthy. I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing. But like I think about it a lot. If I lose, I'm always like, oh, like could have done it better. Watch the video and then I'll like, just microanalyze it, because I think like it's good to like notice. If you're gonna fail, like you need to like. My voice is doing absolute madness. I'm like, if you lose, then you need to like examine why you lost.
Sure.
Like I'm always gonna like relate it to like sports, but like they'll look at the clip and be like, okay, like you're out of position. Like, this is why you know.
Yeah.
And I think like that's like a good thing.
Yeah.
Until it gets like unhealthy, because there's been points where I've just been like, this is not healthy, man. Like you're watching this, you're just torturing yourself, you know.
But do you, when you do that, do you like? Because I think the thing which is easy to do if you're not saying that you are, but like if you're a sore loser, the easy thing to do is to like just blame the judges or be like, they don't know what they're talking about. Like, do you usually take it on yourself and you're like, I'm this and
Yeah,
I'm that,
yeah.
or do you find yourself putting it on other people or?
Nah, I mean, if I notice myself doing that, then I'll figure it out. Because I think like, although sometimes judging is bullshit. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
of
put
course,
that
of
out there.
course, yeah.
But like, most of the time, you know, I think anyway, like you do know.
Mm.
And I think even when I've spoken to people when they think they've been treated unfairly, they also know. Like I can hear in your voice, like you actually don't believe what you're saying. You're just like you're
You're lashing
annoyed that you
out.
lost, you know.
Yeah.
But this is fair enough. Like I don't know why I'm making sports comparisons, but
No,
if you
no.
watch it, they always blame the referee. They
True.
always blame the officials. They blame the pitch. They
Yeah.
blame the crowd and like whatever they, you know, because losing is not fun. Like it's not, and it's not supposed to be fun. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I try and be like, okay, like what went wrong? Like what were you feeling at the time, and why? If you rushed, why did you rush? Like what? Because you didn't in the other round.
Right.
So I think sometimes as well, it's not like, oh, why did you lose? But, oh, why did you win? Like, so the other rounds before you won, so why did it work then and didn't work in the other? You know what I mean?
Shit.
And like,
That's a nice way of thinking of it, actually.
yeah, also it's nicer because then you get to watch yourself win.
yeah. Like, let me just watch this round one more time.
Yeah. But I do think it's valuable to know what your strengths are as well.
Definitely.
Because I think when it does get to a kind of competition thing, it is like all results based, and it's all like, because it has to be all analyzing failures and losses. But like, okay, but so you know what's wrong, but what's right? Like,
yeah,
how can you judge yourself on everything that's wrong before you've even looked at what you're doing right?
Yeah, and it's like if you have strengths, it's like it's playing the strategic game. Is like what is strong about my dance that this other person doesn't have, or that I can put up against that. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this person's really good at this, but I'm really good at this, and you only know that you're really good at this if you watch back and see where it worked and where it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been watching. I watched them quite a bit, the Red Bull battles, like, and usually I don't. That's the other thing. Like, usually I hate watching myself dance sometimes.
Really?
Even if like, so Red Bull after the event, I felt so good about the way I danced, like almost every apart from that last round. But like, then I watched the battles back and I'm like, oh, like I don't. That's corny. Like that's cheesy. Like why are you? Or I've seen someone else do that. Like even and it can sometimes like
kill your
it can kill my buzz. I'm like, oh, I like the way I danced before I watched this video, and now I'm going to change everything. Like,
But no, I think I'd say that there's a balance because, especially if you're doing it in a productive way, because there's the internal feeling and then the external how it looks. So it's like you could have felt like, oh, I felt great, and then you watch it back and it just looks like trash. It didn't, like, because I saw it, but like that's happened to me where I've like, oh, I'm feeling this right now. Watch it, I'm like, that's horrible. Or the reverse where I've been like, I feel like shit, nothing's working, it's terrible. And I watched the round back and I'm like, oh damn, that was good. You're like,
that's
what am I
best
talking
feeling
about?
That. It's really nice.
But it's like, I think you have to an extent, especially as a battler, I think you have to be able to, what do you call it? Like separate them. Like you might be not feeling the round or even the song, like especially like if you're like, oh, I don't really like this song, but you have to like, okay, what's gonna make me look like I'm enjoying the song, even if I don't, or like look like I'm really feeling it, even if I'm not.
You
and
fake it to make it.
Yeah, it's like the performance element of it, like there might be a even like acting, you might not be upset, but you have to cry. Like we might not like the song, but we need to show that we do. It's like kind of part of the performance, I guess, because the audience, especially at Red Bull, like the audience aren't going to be on your side if you're grumpy about the fucking song or something. It's like we need to. The more you're into it, the more we are. But I think it applies with any battle, really. What I was going to ask you is always like, what you were saying about analyzing why you won or why you lost, that kind of thing. Like, do you only base that on like, okay, well, the judges voted for me, so I won in that way, like the kind of straightforward win? No. Is it like I wanted to do, like, do you ever come with like not an ulterior motive, but you're like, I might not win today, but I want to make an impression, or I want to show them this, or I just want to beat that one guy, or...
Nah, I think I'm always trying to win. I don't think I'm always trying to win. But like you said, like I don't know. I think it's hard. Sometimes I've had it before, like where I've been voted against and I'm like, cool. But for me, I
won.
like I
Yeah,
won that,
yeah.
you know, like, and then watch the video back. I'm like, yeah, I won, whatever.
Yeah, so then you can't really be mad in a way because you're like,
Yeah,
it's just
I mean,
the
it would
judge
be nice
was
to
done.
have the money.
Yeah, true,
but
true.
but you know, sometimes it's like that, and I think that's just I think that's just the nature of things.
Yeah.
But like, weirdly, I think what you were talking about blaming judges, like I went through a period of like, oh, like no one gets my style, man. Like I went through this proper phase of like I'm just like ahead of the game, and like
Yeah.
basically I was arrogant, you know what I mean? Like, and you realize, I think when you look past that and you're like, okay, actually, like you need to sort this out. Like it's a popping battle, you're not even popping, like right. You know, these little things, like I think it's easy to see past because we've all got an ego, and it's like keeping that in check, right? Like, and if you win a bit, then the ego gets inflated. So you're like, if you feel in that way, then you're gonna disagree with certain decisions. But then there's decisions that I disagreed with back then, like say, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and then I'm like, I look back at them now, I'm like, how did I think I won that? Like that is crazy. Like I got schooled. Like you know, there was a battle in it was block battles in, I don't know, it was a while ago, like 2-3 years ago.
Why does that ring a bell? Who did that?
I think Kwame did it. I think Kwame puts it on.
Yeah. Was it? There was like a fundraiser or something, right?
I think so.
At Redbridge.
Maybe it was in London.
Yeah, like far from like yeah. I think that's Redbridge. Yeah,
it was a cool event though. And I won the event, right? And I beat Berry B Soul in the finals. Shout out to Berry. Berry's cool. But like, I remember I felt so bad because I thought I won on the day, right? And like there was like 7 judges in total because there's loads of different styles. Right. And like everyone voted for me apart from Sean.
Oh,
Sean voted for Berry.
And he's the popping judge.
Yeah, and he's the popping judge, innit? And then Berry like shared a thing on Facebook and was like, look, like this is hard to take, you know, because I've just been voted against by a load of non-popping judges.
True.
Not to say, you know, Clara definitely knows a thing about.
Berry? Huh? Do I know Berry?
He's from Czech Republic. I think you recognize him if you've seen him, man. He's crazy. Okay. But yeah, I'm sure Clara and that they obviously know a bit about popping. But like, if the popping judge votes for you and you don't win, it does burn.
Pissed. Yeah.
And I saw the post and I was like, bullshit, like I took the win. And he shared the memory like a couple of days ago, just like, oh, like, because it was like 3 years ago or something. And I was like, wow, I got fucking smoked.
Oh, for real?
And I didn't know it. I was like,
shit.
I was like, wow, yeah, I took the win. But like, because I was offbeat and everything, like it was really bad.
Yeah.
And those are things that when you're in the moment, like, and you do take the win, you're just like, I took the win, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter, you know. But when you look back at it, you're like, oh, like, you kind of had a point.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, like, I battled him again in Belgium, and the same thing happened to me. Like, the popping judges voted for me, and the other judges voted for him, and we tied.
Shit.
So,
yeah,
goes around, comes around, I guess.
Yeah. But I think also it's like, this is, I try to get across to like younger dancers, is like, not saying you're, wait, how old are you?
23.
Oh yeah, well,
you asked that before as well.
I did, yeah. That's sorry, guys. No, but like I don't mean this about you, but like when I'm talking to like younger dancers, like less experienced, let's say, it's like the reason you're not judging is because you don't know enough to judge it. So how can you say, "Oh, I won, they're wrong"? It's like you don't know enough to know that you lost. You know what I mean? And then, like you said, like you kind of grow up and learn more about the style, see all the intricacies, like see everything from a more mature perspective, and you're like, oh yeah, I lost.
Yeah, like, you know? Wow. Not even I lost. Like sometimes it's like, wow, I didn't just lose. Like I got schooled. Like I went to class. Like it was that bad.
But you know what gets me the most is like when people walk off the stage saying they got robbed, and I'm like, you haven't even watched it back. Like how can you make a valid decision having been in the battle? Like even when I'm an audience member, if my mind isn't really in the state of judging, I can't. Like at Red Bull though, I didn't vote with the things.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Because I was taking pictures for the capsule. Yeah, and I was like, I'm watching the battles. My eyes are on even like all of I took pictures during the first round and the finals, and the 2 middle rounds I didn't take any pictures. But I'm like, it's not fair because I'm on my phone, I'm writing updates, I'm like half watching, taking a picture. I'm like, I'm not gonna vote because I'm not here like paying attention. So if you're in the battle dancing, how could you have paid attention to what you did or the person opposite when you were pacing up and down? Like it's impossible to focus. That's why the judge is paid to sit there and do nothing but watch. Like to be honest, for me, it's been a while since I've judged anything, but like I don't even like react. You know, like some judges, like if someone does something, they're like, oh shit, la, la. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you
your job
stay
is not to get
watching.
excited. Just shut up and watch.
Yeah,
Like and pay attention, because in that moment where you're nudging the judge next to you about how dope that was, like you're not focused.
yeah, 100%.
And it's like you're paid to be there just to focus on the battle. You're not an audience member. Do you know what I mean?
Big time. That's why it burns when you see a judge like check their phone or something.
Oh,
You're
bruv.
like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
man.
Or look away during prelims. Oh, there's been a few moments like that where it's like a judge is like looking down or like looking to the side while they're judging prelims, and you're like,
You're being paid to watch.
yeah, you literally, that's how you had one job. But yeah,
Nah, that's happened to me a couple times as well. But yeah, it's the nature of it, I guess.
and it's also, I mean, without going too much on a tangent, but like this is kind of an issue I have with event organizers, because it's not the dancer's job to fix that. It's the whoever hired that judge. It's like, just because they have a big name or they're famous or something, it's like you're paying them. They're your employee. Like, hey, do your job. Like if you worked at Foot Locker and you were just like not tying up the laces, it would be
exactly.
like, hey,
How
your
would you
job
get
is to
hired?
fucking tie these people's laces or whatever it is, you know? So it's like, I don't care if you're super world famous. You took the money from me. You accepted this fee to do this job. So do the fucking job, you know?
Yeah, there's something that Renegade shared like a couple weeks ago about like, because obviously they're approving everything for the Olympics
Yes.
now, so it's obviously got mad serious.
Yeah.
And like he said something about bias, about like you can't judge if you're an active competitor.
Right.
And I was like, that makes so much sense. Like, like when do you ever see freaking Mbappe referee a game? Like, obviously not. Like,
like
not
in a match like by a team that he got beaten by last
yeah,
week.
do you know what I mean? Like, how would that be fair? Like, you would never see like, I don't know, like,
That's a good point.
you would never ever see Andy Murray like just step in at Wimbledon and be the umpire for like, and then if you think about it, you're like, oh, that does make a lot of sense. Like, why are there people with like it's not even just a potential bias, like the bias
in
is there,
the crew,
it exists,
like,
you know?
yeah.
So I thought that kind of makes sense. But then of course that means I won't get hired to judge events. So that kind of
Yeah, I mean, I think
guess.
that, you know what, the podcast I did with Neek, I'm always plugging my other podcast, so go check him out. The one I did with Neek, he was talking about World B-Boy Classic, which he's involved in organizing or organizes himself. I don't think it's just him, but he was saying like the thing with their event is like the Olympics and that type of competitive dance is being done, and he's like happy for that to be done, but also he doesn't want his event to be that. So it's like, he's like, it doesn't have to be across the board, and we can accept like this jam isn't going to be the most fair, but it'll be a fun jam to be at.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
that's
it's like
kind of like what Red Bull was really like.
Right.
They kind of just were like, yeah, the crowd's gonna judge it. It's
For
not
sure.
fair. It's charisma. Like,
yeah.
and there is, we need that.
If we
as
know
well.
if we know that that's what it is before we enter, it's fine.
Exactly, yeah, and like it was a sick event. So
And funnily enough, I don't think I disagree with any of the decisions. No, I did.
the ties.
There was one tie.
I'm joking.
Who did you tie against?
I tied twice. I tied against Uncle and Robbia.
I think it was Uncle TC's, and not because I don't think it was a tie, because I think I looked into the audience and I was like, I don't know that.
That's
this
why I
is
was
a
doing this.
tie.
I was struggling to the audience because I literally like all behind me was Uncle's sick, by the way. Like
Yeah.
he's
No
crazy.
disrespect to him.
But like every color was red, and I heard literally she said it's a tie, and then everyone was like, no.
Yeah, I was very confused. I was like, I'm pretty sure
what the
everyone
hell?
voted. I mean, mate, look, put this out there. Maybe from my perspective at the front, I couldn't see all the people behind me and what they were voting for.
Yeah.
But I just kind of, I remember exchanging looks with a few people like, is that really? Like, it looks like there's way more for him, but you know.
But then they played the Amy song after that. So
True.
I
So it was worth
I
it.
was happy when I got that song. If it had been like a track that I didn't like, I would have been if I'd have lost, I'd have been this would be a different podcast right now. We'd still be talking about Red Bull.
Just, it's like, right, we're doing 2 hours on Red Bull.
Yeah,
That's it.
I literally would be just talking about how like they shafted me basically.
No, but yeah, like, yeah, it's not even to say my opinion of the battle. It's just like looking at the votes around the thing. I was like, I don't know that that's equal. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was like a backstage call to like give him another round to make it fun. I don't know.
I hope not.
Yeah,
because I was tired. I was so tired, especially the second tie, the tie against Robbie.
Yeah,
Because it was like a garage track, so it was fast.
oh yeah.
Afterwards, I was like,
True.
jeez, like I was so tired.
Yeah, that's long.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think that's like, yeah, as long as we know what the deal is with the judging and the setup of the battle, then we can, like I did this event on the weekend. I don't know if you saw it, the third culture kids thing. It was like an All Stars battle for charity. And it's like, it's actually a very similar concept to Red Bull. They did like one pop song and one like thing to your choice and blah, blah. But I was like, it's for cancer research. Like it's a fun battle. Like it's not supposed to be super serious. Like, I don't care. Like I'm not, if I lose, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, what do you mean? I didn't. It's like, it's just, you're just here for fun. And if you know that from the beginning, like, yes, don't be a complete dick to me on purpose. And you know what I mean? Like make me look stupid or whatever. But if you're just trying to do your best and, you know, something didn't happen or the judging was off, it's like, it's whatever, you know? It's like, yeah, I think it's a young, no, not young. It's a less experienced mentality to like put the same lens on every single thing. Like BC1 is not the same as like just some fun community jam. Like
and the stakes are much lower. Like I don't know. Like I would be if someone just if a judge at BC1, I'm not a B-boy, but if I was competing in BC1, and I asked the judge why I lost, and he would say like, "Oh, to be honest, I didn't watch your round." I'd be like, well,
this is
this
the
is
big
like
shit.
as good as it gets for a b-boy, and you just didn't watch my. That's the reason. Or like, even if they just said some bullshit, like, I just think he had more energy or something. I'd be like, what?
Give me a little bit more.
Come on, like this is like a high stakes thing. This is not like £100. This is like my career could change because of this. You know,
100%.
But if it's like something small like that, what's the point? Like, who really cares?
Yeah, I'm just here to have fun.
Who really cares anyway? But who really cares? Like.
But it's, I mean, there's things that like a fun community jam isn't, like you said, it's not really going to affect your career. Whereas like BC1, okay, this is like, I'm making money off this, or, you know, whatever, I'm using this as a platform, and you know that because it's a fucking huge platform. So yeah, I hear you, man. But you know what, it's funny, like I never thought of you as a competitive person. I don't know why.
Oh,
like,
I'm the worst, man. I'm so everything as well, like not just battles.
Did you, because you're the guy that you battle with is Tom, right?
Yeah. I haven't seen Tom in ages.
Oh, for real?
Shout out to Tom.
Yeah, because I remember you guys from like Just Taboo and stuff. But did you guys like train a lot with Mechanical and those guys?
Yeah, so Alex was on here, right?
Yeah.
I'm
like
sure he spoke about, he used to organize with Jutsu, Sam, sometimes Rajib. There's another voice crack. Count how many voice cracks there are in this.
It's all good.
There was Rajib.
We'll auto-tune him out.
And a few, they used to get like different teachers each time, but basically just used to bring, it was sick.
Like all the young poppers.
All the young poppers from the UK. So that's how I met Lewis. And Dom. And
Pressure, all them.
Pressure, all those guys. That's how I met them first. Mind Trick, Tashan, George even. I met them all there.
I forget George was young, he's too tall.
Yeah. But he must have been about 17 then.
Yeah.
And I met all those guys. And then I met Tom at one of those events.
Ah, sick. Are you guys from the same area? Or?
Nah, he's from Wales. He's
from, shit. Where are you from?
I'm from Cornwall.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So we're both from like these weird kind of rural, like
yeah,
hillbilly areas, basically. But yeah, we just met because Alex and him met through Got to Dance, and then we just kind of met and like just like, you know, when you meet someone and you're just like, we were the same age, and then you just connected well. Works. So like when I came up for Pop and Pete's Pop Shop, like,
oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that was sick, man. That was such a cool...
Kate Scanlon did
that,
right?
Yeah. But I went up for the week, and then Tom also went up for the week, so we got to know each other more there. And then like he asked me to do the BBC thing, and then I asked him to do, and like we just like became like really good friends, basically.
Yeah, sick. But you know what? It's like I always associate, because I don't know. I think maybe it's from Instagram or like seeing you do stuff with Alex. I just like, because we spoke about it, me and him on the podcast, but like about him not really loving competition and stuff. So I just kind of assumed you were like more that camp of like, oh, I'm just more want to enjoy it. So like to hear you like, yeah, no, I fucking hate losing. I'm like, oh shit.
You were wrong.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I think I used to play. I was rubbish, but I used to play football.
Right.
And I've always just like,
you love the game of it.
I love it. Yeah, you know, even losing. Like I say, I hate losing, but like there's some kind of the satisfaction in losing is that like when you win, it feels so much sweeter. Because if you've lost a lot, you know that feeling of when you lose, and then when you win, it's like, whoa, like I could have. There's one winner, and there's like however many entrants. You're like, oh, that was me. Like I was that guy.
I've been the guy that lost in the top 16 however many times.
And that probably sounds mad egotistical, but like it is it's like such a good feeling. And also just to get better, I think like competitive in nature. So like in terms of training, it's the best way for me to train with people, because I just, with Tom, it's like that. Like
Yeah.
we just send each other videos. Okay, I mean,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
haven't in
yeah.
ages, but like, and he does stuff, and I'm like, oh, I just need to practice because
Yeah.
he's crazy. Or even Alex, you know, like I love that like competitive energy, and I think Alex might not like me for saying this, but I think Alex actually is competitive. He's just like in a different. He's more calm, like
Yeah,
in
right,
his
right,
way
right,
of
right.
being competitive. But he is competitive because you can see, like, when he does rounds, like I know that has a
Yeah,
competitive.
yeah.
I think everyone does a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Yeah, I guess it's part of us, you know, to like, I don't know, someone did something good, you also want to do something good and keep up with them, and especially like depending on the dynamic, because I think he kind of mentioned it, but like that's an annoying
Wow.
sound. Sorry about if you can hear that, guys. Just so awkward in the middle of
Yeah,
it.
I didn't even know what that was. Right?
But like if you know, he was saying something about like kind of being older and seeing, I think you guys like doing well, and it's like I can imagine, you know, like you've been doing this for however many years, and you see these young guys come up, you're like, "Nah, fuck that." Like
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of you is like, nah, I've been doing this longer than you. I feel like that sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get fucking beaten and popping by George, and I'm like, how old is this motherfucker? You know, and I'm like I get, and this is where I think the mature mentality comes in. Is like I can separate the my fun competitive side from my reality. You know,
Mhm.
like the last event that we did no, you didn't come.
Which
This
one?
company flies thing. It was the day before.
No, do you know what? My back. That's literally the
Ah,
reason I
fair.
didn't. I was gonna compete, but I was like, I want to save myself for Red Bull, and I was
Yeah.
still in pain for Red Bull, so it didn't
Fair.
make a difference. But
Well, I probably wouldn't have got to the top 8 if you were there. So thank you.
you.
No, but like I battled George, and then like for the top 8, and then Sean's partner didn't had to leave. It was supposed to be Slayer. He had to leave, so I was like, fuck it, let me battle him because was the next person in line, kind of thing. But it's just like, even with Sean, it's like I don't know, like in that battle, I'm like, I fucking want to beat you. You know what I mean? Like I would love to beat you, especially because I don't like popping is like it's not new to me, but it's new that I'm trying hard in it. So I'm like, oh, even when we battled at
Yeah. I
thingy,
remember
because I
that.
got you first round, and I was like, I just had a little fantasy in my head of the judges pointing at me, and I'm like, imagine what everyone would say. It's like, yo, you beat Silk in like the first round, like, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking want to take him out. And then when I lose, it's just like I can disconnect, and be like, nah, all right.
Yeah,
We
that's
knew
the
that
other
probably wasn't
thing.
going to happen, but
I think like I don't know. You need. It's good to be passionate about it. I
Yeah.
think like so. Like, I mean, like you said, when people like shake their head because they think they lost, like they think they won or whatever.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
in a way, it's kind of a good thing because when they're passionate about
Sure.
it, it's like, oh, fair enough. You know, like you wanted to win and you're clinging to it.
yeah,
But if it, I think not so much on myself. I'm not thinking like, but on other people. If my actions after I've lost affect other people in a bad way,
Truth.
something needs to change.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
because I have seen people act somewhat violently or whatever. You know, and when
Yeah.
it gets like that, you're like, all right, mate. Like,
in a bit like disrespectful. It's like after a
Yeah.
football game or basketball game. Like I don't know because I play basketball, but like in football, do you like shake each other's hands? At the
yeah,
end?
yeah. Of
And it's like if someone just like didn't shake your hand,
You're just like,
it's like all right,
mate.
now you're being a dick. Like,
Yeah, and also like, I mean, I like this is my career, you know what I mean? So I dance, this is what I do, so I
yeah,
fucking love it and it's my thing. But also like, it is like, you are like two sweaty dudes dancing at each other for 30 seconds each, twice, to different random songs that no one really cares about.
yeah.
So
yeah.
like, it's not the Olympics, mate. I mean, it will be for some people.
Yeah.
And like I'm saying, this is my passion. Don't get me wrong, but you got to be able to
Like, put it in
desensitize yourself.
perspective.
Yeah, and just be like, all right, like, okay, I lost it. That sucks, but I'm not gonna go and start like chatting shit on Facebook or whatever. Because honestly, like, who cares?
Bro, 100%. Like, especially when it's like the prize money is £100. Like,
Yeah, who
it's
cares?
fine. Like, okay, like if you know, it's like I even think of this with like talking shit in battles. It's like I get like talking shit to try and put each other off and stuff. Like that for me, I find that fun. We used to do that in basketball, like just you know, just talking shit and trying to like get in your head or something. But if you're like actually angry, like shouting and swearing and just over the top, and it's like, yo, you know, like we're in a dance studio right now and the prize is 50 quid. Like, it's cool. Like, calm down, guys. Like, I'll give you the 50 quid to calm down.
I've seen it. There was we did put on an event in Plymouth.
Yeah.
SDF did it in Prime Skate Park, and my friends, Jake, Jack, and then another guy, and we were all like 14, 15 at the time, and they battled some older dudes, like it must have been about 25 to 30, right? And obviously, the younger dudes, they were getting like mouthy as as fuck, right? Because they wanted to win, you know.
Yeah.
They're battling experienced
Yeah,
people, so
yeah,
they knew
yeah.
they're gonna lose. So they were just getting well mouthy and everything. They'd be like, "Oh, you killed it well."
Yeah.
And then at the end, like one of the older guys like shouted out, like, "Yeah, that's it." Like, and next time, like don't chat shit as much. And then like refused to shake their hand and shit. And I was like, oh, come on, man. Like they're just kids. Like,
Yeah,
who
right,
cares?
right,
Like,
yeah.
really, do you care? You won as well. Like, it's not that you lost. So
Like you've got to put it in perspective of like, is it disrespectful based on the context or
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
whatever. Like I think the whole thing is contextual. Like if you're two grown-ups and we're both like 35 and we have full-time jobs and we're talking shit, it's like,
okay,
can we come? Yeah, if there's a bunch of kids talking shit to you, okay, they're kids, they watch
yeah,
YouTube.
they're
Like,
obviously
you know,
gonna do that. And I think I don't know if I say like with the talking shit thing to put people off.
yeah,
I understand that. Like I understand that that's always gonna be there.
yeah.
The thing I don't like is that I think people use it as an excuse to say shit that like they
They really
don't
feel.
actually mean.
Oh,
you
that
know?
they don't actually.
They don't
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. So like, if you say something to me in a battle and you don't mean it, I don't know what that makes me feel like
I
because
hear you.
so afterwards you don't feel the same way. That feels a bit weird to me.
So
like,
why
then
did
it
you
means-
say that?
Yeah, why did you say it then? Like, because you don't have the. If you don't have the balls to like actually say it in real life,
Yeah.
then I don't think personally, for me anyway, I don't think you should say it in a battle. So I've said stuff to about Darren. I was like, oh, I've seen that before. Like I've
Yeah.
seen you do that. I'd say that to him afterwards. Be like,
Yeah,
I saw you do
if
that
he
loads of
confronts you
times.
about it, it's like, yeah,
Or I would never say anything in a battle that I wouldn't say afterwards. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Be like, yeah, I honestly think that. But when I don't know if someone was to say something about your family during a battle, that's way
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
line.
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
this whole thing of like, oh, you know, I was just trying to put them off.
it depends what you said.
Yeah, like what did you say though?
Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's not like just because you're like, oh, this is part of the game, it doesn't mean you have a free pass. Like people will still punch each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's still like. It's
luckily
still
I haven't
real
seen that
life.
happen a lot, but it's like, it's still like, all right, be careful. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm
watch
with
it,
you on
like,
that.
and just because it's a battle doesn't mean it's suddenly like Twitter and like you
Yeah,
can say anything you
yeah,
want.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you still said that, so take ownership of it. And like, I don't know, like, I don't know. I'm making all these sports comparisons, but like,
No, but it's the same. Like, it's the closest comparison, you know?
you know, remember when Zidane got sent off in the World Cup because he headbutted that
Yes,
guy?
yeah.
That guy said something about his mum or his
Right.
sister or whatever, right? So like, yeah, Zidane reacted in a rubbish way, but the guy's still a scumbag for saying that. Like,
yeah,
you
for
shouldn't
sure.
say that to someone. It's not nice.
And you
So-
wouldn't say it out in the street or afterwards. so it's
exactly,
like,
and you wouldn't expect to say it without getting a headbutt. So why do you expect not to get? You know, what I
because
mean?
there's a referee and it's like,
Yeah, exactly. So I think sometimes people like when people say to me like, "Oh, you're offbeat," I'm like, "Well, fair enough. Maybe I was." You know, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But if I have had situations where someone said, you know, something that I'm like, I don't think you'd say that to my
You're
face.
crossing a line,
You're,
yeah.
you are crossing a line a bit. You know.
Yeah. I think the only thing I'd say on that is like, and I don't know, maybe tell me if you think I'm wrong, but like, I think I spoke to Ice about this, but like, I sometimes say shit that's not true just to put you off. So like, I'll just call someone a biter when they did something that I've never seen before, and then they'll be like, "What did I bite?" And afterwards, I'll be like, "Oh, nothing. You
just
stopped thinking
put you
about
off."
your dance for a little bit, didn't you?" Or like, I'll just be like, "Oh, you've done that twice." So they didn't do it twice. I just want, I just
Yeah.
want you to think about that. But
Oh, so you're a prick then?
yeah, basically. No, but it's like, for me, I'm like, that's the fun part. Like, I'm not doing
Yeah,
it to
yeah,
really
yeah.
hurt you. And I would never say something, you know, that actually hurts someone feeling. It's just stuff like that where I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I might be like, oh, your shoe's untied and it's not untied. But it's like, I'm just trying to make you like distracted or make you laugh or
I
something.
hear that. I mean, I just think I'm not even speaking all the stuff I said. I'm not speaking like this is what people should do.
Sure,
Just for
sure.
my that's when because sometimes when you get competitive, you do speak because you're like
Yeah.
But like I'm trying to for myself, I'm like I'm not gonna say anything that I don't actually mean because otherwise, like for me, it's like what's the point in saying it? Like, you know. But I get it. If you're trying to throw someone off, it's like a
And I
different
think
thing. You know?
that's the whole thing. I spoke about this with Bird Gang when they won their battle against War. But it's like you have to think about why you're talking. Like if you can beat someone without talking, why are you wasting your energy to shout at them? Just beat them. Like that's the biggest like put down is like I won. Shut up. But it's also like some people like if you how do I put it like if you're gonna talk like I think people have watched a lot of YouTube and they've seen a lot of like b-boys just shouting at each other and they're like, oh, that's a good battle. And it's like if your opponent thrives when they're hyped up, don't talk to them. Like, you can actually do more damage by like killing the atmosphere than you can by hyping them up. You know, if you hype them up and talk shit, they might do a way better round than they would have, because they dance well under pressure and they dance well when they're it's like, you know, like Eminem when he does his diss tracks or something. It's like, don't give him an excuse to be that good. Maybe not nowadays, but like,
No, I know what you're saying.
it's like, yeah, if I know you dance better when you're angry, I have a better chance of beating you if I smile at you.
Yeah.
Because inside I'm like, right, I'm about to go as hard as I can, but I'm going to make you relax because I'm like, oh yeah, we're just friends, you know? And for me, that's just equally as much battle tactics. It's like, how do you get one over on your opponent? Some people get put off if you distract them. Some people get put off if they don't have any motivation. So it's like, just talking shit is not always, and people do it when it's like, I've seen people do it when they're in the same crew and they're they're friends and they're shouting at each other. And I'm like, hey, aren't you guys supposed to be friends? Like, what?
Yeah,
What's happening?
It's just too much testosterone.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I had it in, I don't know if you were there. It was in Kieran's battle in Swindon. I think
Which one?
West Country Clash. Kieran organises that.
Maybe.
Right?
There's only one in the last few years that I haven't been to.
This was ages ago. This
Okay.
was like 2019.
Yeah.
But I was battling Tyrell from Canada. And I literally just having the conversation with a friend of mine. Like, oh, I hate it when grown men come up to you and trying to shake your hand in a battle.
Right.
And then like be like, no.
Oh, yeah.
I was just saying that, like, because to me, it's just like such a child. I'm just like, okay then.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like, oh, you got me.
Yeah, literally.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, good job. But then he came into me and he did that. And I was like, oh, no, forget it. Like, this round, you're getting it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care. Like, because I just had that conversation. And I think, like, although, you know, he's like a really sick dancer, but like, in terms of, I don't think that was a wise move, because I never, to be honest, if you're an adult dancer, I don't think you should be doing that. I think it just looks stupid. But like, I just think you open yourself up then to be like, okay, well now you've come with this like attitude, then the other person's got the opportunity to make you look foolish, you know what I mean? And you can, like, you're trying to make them look like an idiot, but you can look like just way more of an idiot, you know what I mean? Because that's the kind of thing that 10-year-olds do, you know what I mean?
And there's a very specific type of person that will work on.
And
if the person you're battling is not that person, what have you done? Like, you've made yourself look stupider for losing, if you lose. Or if you win, it's like, and if it's too easy of a win, it's like, well, why did you win and make fun of the person you beat? Like, you know what I mean? Like, have some sportsmanship and just beat them. Like, like if I'm battling like a little kid or someone that I know I'm going to smoke, I very rarely talk shit.
Yeah, because
do you know what I mean? It's like, why would you ever? Like, I remember one time I battled this kid, I don't even know who it is now, at Maryland. And I had to, like, it was something weird. Like, I got through, and then someone texted me saying you got through. So I sprinted back from the station because I had gone out or something. I think I was dropping my girlfriend at the station. And I got back and I was against this little kid, and I was like out, I literally ran in onto the floor. And then I was like, said to the kid, like, can you go first? Like, I'm like that. And they were like, no, and like crossed their arms and were like, you go first. And I was like, all right, well, you're being a bit of a dick, but it's like, you're a little kid, like, fair play. And even like, it's funny, like his mum came up to me afterwards and was like, I'm so sorry about him. Like, I hope he didn't find it rude. And I was like, no, like, that's what he's supposed to do. Like, he's a kid battling an older person.
But
like,
if
don't
you
give
did
me
that,
a break.
it would look weird.
Exactly, yeah. Or if I was, if I was like, no, you'll go first. No, you go first. It's like, you're like 9, I'm gonna beat you, so I'll go first. It's fine.
Yeah,
even like me and you, like, even when we battled in the whatever, the Ground Zero.
Ground Zero, that's what's
Yeah. Like, for me, I was like in a realistic way, I've been around the scene enough. I know enough about popping to know there's a very small chance that I'm going to beat you at this point. And that's not me like trying to be humble. I would love to beat you if I could. But like, just like me understanding popping and knowing where I'm at and knowing where you're at, I'm like, unless you have a shit round and I have a good round and I know the song, it's a very small chance that you're going to lose to me. So at the beginning, I was like, do you want to go first or shall I go first? And you said you. And I went, all right, cool, I'll go first. Like, I'm not going to waste your time or mine trying to...
scared. I was like, please go first.
But you know what I mean? It's like, it's all these battles. It's like, I don't need to go second in this battle because I'm here actually just trying to... Like, I would have... And I was quite happy with that battle. But like, my... let's say my best outcome is that I do well against you and make you try hard, and when people watch the video they go, oh, you didn't get destroyed, you know, that's all I'm hoping for. So I'm like, well, I don't need to go second for that, let me just go first and do my best. And it's like, just, I think all of these theatrics and battle talk and and everything around it is like, it's contextual in a real sense, in a real sports like sense. It's like it's context whether you need these things. I think there's people that are like playing a character. They're like, oh, I'm hip hop, so I have to swear at you and say and call you a biter because that's what people on YouTube do. And it's like,
and also if that's not you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like I think people overthink the whole thing personally. I think just dance good.
Yeah.
Do that and worry about the other stuff as it comes, as it happens. Because if you overthink it, then you've already done too much. You know what I mean? Like the whole point is that it's like these things come naturally. Like it's not like for like the same. Like I'm not an aggressive person, so I'm not gonna start like throwing all these signs and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like let me think of some like. Say Chase, for example. Chase is that's the kind of his energy. He's like you know what I mean. That's him. So that's where he's gonna behave. But I'm never gonna try and do that.
Just to be fake if it's not who you are.
Because that's not me like at all. So, and I see it so many times. I meet these people, and they're like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Like, nice to meet you." And then I battle them, and they're like, "Fuck you, you were better." And you're like, "But why? You were so nice to me before. Like, you're not this kind of person." You know what I mean?
When we were at Battle Bad a while ago, and you know Lee, right? Ricochet.
Yeah.
We because they have a concept about Battle. I don't know if they still do it, but it's like you can get like a black card. Like anyone in the audience can get this black card, and it basically means at any point in the event you can stop and say, "I want to call someone out." So if you got one on the entry, like you can call anyone out in the audience. Any of the judges, like they just stop the event for you to do a call out, which is kind of cool.
That's a sick idea.
Yeah, and this year, like Lee got through. I think he got to the semis, and before the semis, I think it was like some random dude called him out. We've never seen him before, but I think he didn't like the way Lee danced or something. He just called him out, and it's like he was so angry through the whole battle, like to the point where I was behind Lee, and he kind of turned around, like, "What's happened? Like, do I know this guy? Like, what? Why is he angry?" And then as soon as they finished the battle, he like came up to him and like smiled and went to hug him, and Lee was like, "What? Like, no, don't come and just hug me. Like, you've just like cussed me out for like 5 minutes straight." Like,
and that's kind of what I was speaking about before, about like people talking shit, and then like expecting it to be all cool.
All cool,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. I've had a similar thing. You know, someone like slapped me.
Oh shit!
No, they didn't slap me, but they like touched my face, and then like and then went to shake my hand. And I was like, what? Like, no, you know, like you just. I know it's a battle, but like,
at least apologize.
Yeah, come on, man. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is that like, I don't honestly care what you're saying about, but just be prepared to back it up and be 100%. Like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with it?
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
And I, you know, but don't just be like, oh, nice battle, man, respect, like nice exchange. No, you were just so rude for like 5 minutes, and now you're trying to be nice. Like,
yeah, I think that protective bubble of like it's just a battle is like not really the case. It's not really a protective
it's not
bubble.
just about like, it's still real life. Like you still really said those things, you know. Like
I think the Zidane analogy is perfect. It's like might get a real headbutt.
yeah, exactly. And that's, if you think about it, like he could have retired like the best, retired with 2 World Cups if he hadn't thrown that punch, that headbutt. So like the fact that he did that with the stakes were that high, like this isn't some crummy 150-pound battle. This is like the best prize in world football ever, and you could have 2 of them, and you could be like the hero of this, because he also got like player of the tournament. You know what I mean? Like he was just like, nope, you said that about my mum. Okay,
it's worth it.
You're gonna get it, and straight red card. You know what I mean? So if he can do that, then someone can kick your teeth in. If you know, if it's a £10 prize.
That's true. Yeah, and it's like. Yeah. I really think it's like a character thing. They think that's how hip hop should be.
Yeah, because they've seen, and there's people that like, because of where they were brought up or whatever, like that is how it is, you know. And that's the other thing. I would never, if you're really like that, you're really like that. I'm not gonna try and tell you, you know. But it's just when someone's like, their real life character is totally different from who they are on stage. It's like, okay, something doesn't add, like you're not being honest with yourself. You know what I mean? And I think it's very clear when that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or if you're like, I think at very least, like, if you acknowledge that it's a performative thing and you don't cross any lines and you're just, you know, being heated and battling hard because it's a battle and it's a competition, but you're not like you're like, you know, it's cool, but
Yeah,
so
yeah,
just
yeah.
and you don't say anything that crosses the line, then it's like it's cool, you know.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
think something that's in like, I don't know, like take someone like Salah, right? In a battle context, he's not aggressive.
No,
like
yeah.
he's not like, but he burns you so hard. Like if you watch a battle with Salah in it, most of the time you watch him on the sideline more than you watch the other
Sure,
dancer, because
sure.
he's just like, he's talking rubbish to you, or almost like a clown. Like
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
like timing you on when you're gonna finish and all that, you know. But it's not aggressive, but it's still a battle,
And it
because
still
he's
works.
yeah, it still works.
Battling him
because
would be scary.
honestly, I think he's one of the goats, because
Yeah.
he's just, you watch him more than you watch anyone else. You're just like, oh, what's he gonna do now? Like, what's the joke he's gonna do next? Like,
yeah.
and I think that's a clear example of someone he's not this hyper aggressive person that's gonna be like biter, blah blah blah, but like he can still clown you and make you look foolish. You know what I mean?
And I can almost guarantee there's stuff that he does that we don't know about because we don't see it or hear it on the video. But like the person on stage was like, oh my God, before we started, he said this thing to me. Or like, you know what I mean? Like there's probably something where he'll get in your head without it needing to be a whole show as well.
Nah, he's crazy, man.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, I think it's, it's the more experienced dancers. I really think YouTube is part of that, I think there's people that watch YouTube and just all they get from it is what they see. So they're like, oh, this is how it is to battle. Whereas like, I think before YouTube was around and stuff, you learned that from battling someone. So you don't really see what happens. You're just like, oh yeah, they put me off by doing this or this. And there's like a wider range of like battle tactics and stuff,
Yeah, and also the word battle tactics, I feel like that's fairly, I mean, I'm not saying it's new, but I feel like that's kind of, even the fact that we're talking about it, I feel like is relatively a new thing.
Yeah, sure.
Like in terms of the life of actual battling. I feel like, I don't know that for sure. Maybe someone will correct me. But like,
well, there's Ness's book, The Art of Battle, was like, I don't remember, that was quite a while ago, but he kind of detailed some of this stuff, I think, in terms of like battle tactics and stuff. But yeah, I think it's definitely like more of a b-boy thing. They're the ones that like, I guess,
he mastered it.
Yeah, like it was not really a thing so much for like top style dancers, maybe poppers, because you guys always rolled with b-boy crews. But like for hip hop dancers or house dancers, it's like, it's never been like the club dances.
It's not so much.
It's not a battle culture really. It's new that we put those into the battle scene. You like, yeah. But yeah, I think it is a new thing, and I think it's like people are still figuring it out, which I get. But I think this is why it's important that we talk about it as well.
Yeah, no, big time.
But yeah, so anyway, so you're obviously everybody knows you as the competitive now popper and battler. You did like BBC Young Dancer and stuff with your popping and did really well.
Yeah.
But what you told me that I didn't know is your work with contemporary.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know much about that. So tell me, like, how did that start? Have you always done contemporary?
Nah, do you know what happened? It's mad because I didn't even want to do dance.
Oh shit!
Like I wanted to be popping.
Yeah.
But like that's how ignorant I was. I was like, it's popping and there's dance, and dance is like ballet. And like, that's for girls. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And like, so I was doing media at college.
Okay.
And then like,
is this in Cornwall?
Yeah. Well, actually in Plymouth, but
right,
the same area.
Yeah.
And so I was just my goal. I wanted to battle. Like I've always wanted to do that since I was like 10. I'd be like, I want to be battling to a high level, But that was it for that's what I wanted to do. And then everything else was like, all right, well, I guess I'll do media at college because I'm just going to train and I'll do media because it makes sense. And then we had a performance at City College, me and Perry and Toby from Street Factory. And then this woman on the train called Laura, who's with, I think she's still artistic director of Exim Dance Company. Hope she is, but she was back then. And we just got talking on the train by chance because she watched us perform and she was like, you need to go to, you need to do dance, like do ballet, do contemporary, do it. You need to do it. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. And she was like, trust me, just please apply. And then, just I beg you do it. And so I started applying for like dance universities. Like I actually applied for this place, UEL, and Roehampton, all these places.
Did you get in?
I did get in, yeah.
Cool.
But
so that's fine. It's fun, UEL.
But then here's the thing, like what I didn't know is that dance training is different, right? Like, so uni training, although I'm sure this course is great,
yeah,
but like conservatoire training and uni dance training is different, and
Completely,
they're
yeah.
funding at a different level, right? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
I went
just
to
thought,
when I auditioned. I went to a uni audition day, and they straight up said at the beginning, they were like, "Just so everyone knows, like, if you want to be a professional dancer, you shouldn't come here." And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Well,
whoa,
yeah,
I'm gonna go now. Then.
yeah,
I'm
yeah."
gonna leave.
No, it really would. But it's like also they train people to like more to be teachers and stuff like
Yeah,
that. There's
yeah.
other career
It's a
opportunities.
degree. It's still a degree, but
Yeah.
it's funded at a different level.
Whereas what you're saying about conservatoire is kind of like maybe the Erdangs or these type of places where it's like you might not get a degree, but you'll come out of here ready to work.
Yeah, because they've got the funding to. Well, I don't know what it's like at Erding and places like that, but
Yeah.
at Northern where I trained, it was like you get a degree, but it's like because of the way it's funded, they give you classes every day, so you just don't.
Oh, you had
all
a
the time.
degree as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Sick.
It's the same qualification, but it's just funded at a different level.
Got you.
And so I applied for all these dance unis, and then I saw her again on the train, and she was like, "Don't do that." Like
This
you're-
woman's just showing up on the train when you need her.
just this guardian angel of my
Yeah.
life, basically. She was like, "Don't do that. Seriously, don't do it." Because I got an offer from Roehampton, and I was gonna go and do that
Mm,
because I thought I was like, "Well, it makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be dancing every day. It's gonna be brilliant."
yeah.
And then she was like, "No, don't apply to the place. Apply to Northern. Apply to these places because you'll actually dance every day. Whereas
Yeah.
if you go uni, you'll just write
It's like
a
a
lot."
lot of theory and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so then I took a year out because I was too late to then apply for the conservatoire. So I took a year to like in City College where I just like
So you did all your applications in the time it was allocated to, then realized you didn't want to go to any of the
Yeah,
places.
yeah.
So then you just said no to all of them and waited.
yeah, I just said no because I was like, actually, I'm not going to enjoy it.
Fair. Very
And
fair.
that was hard because the offer was there on the table, and I was like, if this means another round of auditions and like maybe not getting
And if you
through-
don't get in, you've just turned down all these places.
exactly, so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me just do it, like
Mm.
because I know that I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah.
And then I just auditioned. I auditioned for the place Laban and Northern, and I
Okay.
only got into Northern.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if anyone is out there and they're not, they're nervous about that kind of thing, I literally I scraped my way through, mate. So really don't you don't. Need
Yeah,
to
you
worry
only
about
need to get into one place.
it. Literally, and the thing is I had my heart set to be here in London
Mm.
because I was like all the dancers. I knew everyone. Josh lived in London at the time,
Yeah.
and like Alex, I know here. I knew loads of people here. So I was like, I need to be in London. I need
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Didn't get into the schools in London, and then got into Leeds, which was like, I can't lie, it was my second choice. So I was like, having this whole like moment. But then I think going there, like, is like the best decision I made, 100%, because it's outside of London. Like I just trained on my own, and I just really trained on my own, or with a couple other guys on the course that
Yeah.
like, and some other people around Leeds that I kind of met through other people, kind of thing. Like I think I was able to focus in a different way than if I had been here. And
Like,
like
kind of forced you to kind of put the blinkers on and not like cut class early because it's a battle or something. You know, you're just like, I'm here to
Exactly.
train.
I did some stupid shit. Like we'd have 9 to 5 pretty much every day, and then like extra rehearsals for our own projects.
Yeah.
So like some days it was like 9 to 9. So say Friday would be like 9 to 9.
Yeah.
Some days this didn't happen every time, but 9 to 9, and then I'd get on a bus at 11:30, come to London. I did just a boot with Tom.
When you were,
Yeah, stayed the whole day, and then got the bus back at 11:30, and then had to do class that next day, like ballet class at
Wowza.
9. It was some horrible days. I can't lie. You're just like literally sat at the bar like swaying, like why am I here?
just like, yeah, delirious.
But it's good, man. I think anyone that's thinking about it, like in terms of like going to take kind of classical training or like contemporary training, I'd really recommend it, even if it's not, going to a
3 years
conservatoire,
of,
whatever. I'd really recommend it because I think it does like open things up in a different way. Because I also I went to do contemporary training because I wanted to be a better popper.
Mm.
I didn't go because I wanted to be in contemporary companies.
Sure.
Like that wasn't my goal at all. It was just like a discovery of like, oh, I can actually enjoy this in the same way that I enjoy battling somebody. I can enjoy doing a plie on stage,
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's like it opened up this whole other avenue of like, oh, like, this is also possible. You know what I mean? And like it also like skyrocketed my popping. Like it just, I was doing stuff. I was like, I've never thought about this position before, let alone seen it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just, and all the teachers, I was just like trying to soak up everything. Like, oh my, like everything was so new and fresh, and like I think we talk a lot in dance about like deliberate practice and
Yeah.
like how do I practice effectively? You know, like, how do I fire those neurons in my brain that creates the right connectivity? Like how can I get better quicker? You know what I mean? And I genuinely think like going there was like the best way to do that because it was all new. Like ballet was new, contemporary was new, and like because of all of it, because every single class I was catching like most of the people, not all of them, because there was some people like me that hadn't done much ballet or those kind of techniques. To me, I was catching up every class. Like I was asking questions at the end of every class, like because I didn't know this information that they had maybe been taught before.
Right.
But because of that, like I just improved much quicker because I was like just trying to get everything in.
Yeah.
And then because I'd go home and train popping like in the evenings, I'd find without me trying, like I wouldn't actively like try and be like, oh, I'm gonna try and do a contemporary move now. It would just happen, and I'd be like, I've never even done that before. Like it really, really opened me up, and I would recommend it to everyone, even if you're like skeptical about it. I think just go to a class and like see where you go.
Yeah, 100%. And I would also recommend looking into how many good dancers that you look up to in the battle scene have classical training.
And this, what's mad is when I spoke to that woman Laura on the train. Shout out to Laura.
Yeah,
Freaking
the guardian angel of the train.
Yeah, literally, she saved my life twice. Seriously, she even helped me with the applications. Like she fully helped me. And then after I had that conversation, I spoke with Dixon.
Yeah.
And then I spoke with Alex.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, Frankie also went to a school. And then also Brooke, because Brooke went to Bird.
Yeah.
I think Bird anyway.
I think so.
And suddenly it was like my destiny to do this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I was like, I have to do it. Like this is like where I want to go,
Yeah.
And it really did change things for me in that way. Like, and opened me up to this whole new thing. Because 10 years ago, if you would have been like, oh yeah, you're going to be doing ballet, I'd be like, what? No way, mate. Like, that's not me. Like, all this stuff. But like, I really enjoy doing ballet now. Like,
yeah. And so you did all that kind of starting off with the aim of like, oh, it's going to improve my popping. But now where are you at with it?
Well, now I like I can work in that sector as well. Like, it's not just like, because I had a bit of a problem when I was kind of in my second year. I was like, oh my God, like I'm never gonna fit in. You know what I mean? Like I'm like too abstract or whatever. I did what's it called?
Air quotes.
I did air quotes if you're just listening. Like I'm too abstract to be like a popper, but I'm too much of a popper to be a contemporary dancer. Like I'm too, I'm way too in the middle now. But then like, I don't know, I just try to keep going with it and like keep practicing. Like I think because my style is maybe a bit more abstract occasionally, and I try and take some risk. I think people don't think that I like train foundation.
In popping?
Yeah, but I train every day, like boogaloo, walkout.
Yeah. I would say
Fresno.
you've got like good. I don't know. Like I think of you as like a good foundational dancer.
But I think that's like that's something that throughout my contemporary training I always did. Like religiously, I was doing drills, Fresno, walkout. Like I was doing all these because I was like, I don't want to lose that side of things. You know what I mean? And then more and more, as like I've gone on and as I like progress, because I'm still like, in my opinion, a baby, like
in
really young in
popping,
in all of it,
right,
in dance in general.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 23, you've got so much time ahead. Like,
there's people that are 60 and they're doing this.
True.
And so I very much view myself as like a younger.
Yeah.
But I've realized that kind of more and more, like all of these different movement languages are like the same thing.
Yeah.
In a different context to different music, and that's kind of it. I mean, I know that's like really like a massive blanket thrown over all of it, but like when I spoke to the ballet teacher at with Akram Khan, he was like, I don't understand it because you do all this amazing intricate movement when you do popping, and then you can't do a tondu. Like you can't. Why can't you do ballet? It's the same thing. Don't do tondu. Like don't do ballet. Like you like you're trying to be a ballet dancer. Like do it like you do it. Like
right.
And then I was like,
yeah.
Okay. So when you do hip hop, don't do it like you want to be a hip hop dancer. Do like the way you do hip hop, and it's the same information. It's just it's just in a ballet context,
And
you know.
I don't know about I've never been in a ballet or contemporary company, but so I don't know about being a dancer. But and from looking at choreographers that have succeeded in that world and across to our world, and looking at battlers that have succeeded, it's always the people that are different. Like for me, you know what you were saying about, oh, I'm too abstract to fit in as a popper. For me, I'm like, that's that. Like I think I kind of like I wasn't super like watching your journey through the whole thing, but I've been aware of you for a long time, and I've seen your stuff for a long time, and I think that abstract thing coming into your pop in is what was like, okay, cool, he's the shit now. You know what I mean? Like before, it was like, oh, cool, you're a good popper, like you got good hits, good foundation. You know what I mean? Like it was cool. But then this stuff bringing it, I was like, now he's on a roll. You know, and it's like I think that's for me. This is why I always see dancers when they go from that transition, and not everyone does, but when they go through that transition from trying to fit into a style to try and stand out in a style, and that's where you get Marvel, where you get where you get Chase, where you get like. I don't know, like any of these dancers where, like even like Frankie, where it's like they have something that is like different, and it might not be, especially at first. I don't know if you still get this now, but like at first, where people are like, "Oh, you're not really doing enough popping," or that type of stuff. But it's actually that same thing that will get you invites and will get you like people want to watch you dance because there's something different. No one wants to see the same dancer 12 times.
100%.
So I want someone that has something that stands out like Marvel. I want something that I want someone that has something like Sean. I also want you in the lineup. If you dance like Sean, I don't need you both. Exactly. I'll just take Sean and Marvel. I don't need you because you dance like Sean.
Like how many poppers have you seen that wear like suit trousers and a white t-shirt and hush puppies?
Yeah, and
it's
they've
like
got
slick back hair.
You don't
There's
need
thousands of these guys. You know what I mean? And like if I wanted to, I can probably dance like that. I'm not saying I can do it better than anyone, but I can probably dance in that way. If
and just fit in if you need to.
Yeah, but that's. To me, now it's boring. I used to enjoy that. Like, I used to want to be like that.
Yeah.
But to me now, it's like I just get bored. Like,
I think there's also something about needing the acceptance before you can branch out. So, like, I don't know if this is the case with everyone or even with you, but, like, I feel like when you're young, you don't know that you can fit in. So you're like, oh, they're just going to push me out or something. So you kind of dance like everyone else dances. You get accepted like, okay, cool, popping, your stuff. And then once you're in, you can then say, right now, fuck all of you, I'm going to do what I want. You know what I mean? And maybe it's like a comfort thing or like not an ego, like insecurity. Like we need to make sure, like, have you all accepted me before I do my weird stuff? And some people just start weird and do weird and stay there. And it takes them a while to get accepted. But yeah, it sounds like a very, what you're saying to me sounds like a very normal journey,
Yeah, 100%. And like, I think it's like you got to understand what the rules are.
Yeah. Before
you can start to be like,
that's
okay,
well.
let's break these rules and and once you understand the rules, you like, okay, so if there's this box that is popping, if I can actually go out of the box and then come back in quickly and it's still kind of popping, like so, but you have to know the boxes first, right?
Sure.
So like, I did so much foundation, and I used to literally be like a stock boogaloo dancer. Like I just used to just watch videos and just do pure EB style, like just copied it, like wear the suit trousers and the hush puppies and all that. I did that, like, but I had to do that to realize that it wasn't for me. And I think that's the hard part. That's the bit that takes time, that everyone has to do. Like everyone's got to realize where they fit in,
and what your speciality is and how you're going to be different as well, which takes time.
Yeah, and everyone's clock is different. So some people find that straight away, and it's like, fuck you, like you lucky prick. Like you found it straight away, and that's you, But then some people could take 20 years, who knows how long it's gonna take.
But yeah, I think that's sick, and I think I think again, like my knowledge is not super great in terms of the contemporary stuff, but I watch theatre as much as I can, and I feel like it's the same where. It's like the people that choreograph differently and move differently are the ones that, if you have 12 people that all kind of dance the same, only one of them is going to get booked. If you have like people that dance different and do something weird or different with their movement, these are the people that like go down in history in the end.
100%. And I actually think that the two worlds are kind of quite similar. Like the more I become part of both of them, I'm like, it's actually, these people are kind of saying the same thing, really.
Yeah.
But like, it's like applying yourself to that thing, even with set movement. Like I had a massive problem, still kind of do have a problem with like set material, like as in a problem with it, but I find it hard to like pick up stuff quickly.
Right.
Because when working with a lot of contemporary choreographers, it's like quick. Like
Right.
you've not got time.
Yeah.
You just have to
get the shit. Let's go.
You have to learn it, and then you have to do it.
Yeah.
And then you have to start having notes and
Right.
adding to it, right? And I'm not the quickest person with that kind of thing. It takes me a little while to pick stuff up. But even doing set material, it's like no one is interested in how you do the set material like the guy that made the set material. You know what I mean? What they're interested in is how do you do that set material? And if you find a way of doing the set material, but in your own way of moving.
Yeah.
And it became easier for me to understand that, because otherwise it's like, I'm trying to do that pinky finger, like they're trying to do the pink, and I can't do it because their body is, our physiology is completely different. Like, we're different heights, legs are different lengths, feet are different sizes. Yeah. Nothing is ever going to be the same. So how do you apply yourself to the movement, honestly, in your own way? Yeah. Like, without trying to be like somebody else. Yeah. And that's the same thing with 100%, all stand-up styles, with breaking, with all of it. That's what it is. It's how do you apply yourself in that context?
And it's maybe even more essential in the styles.
Literally, like, in battles, it's not about, like, when a judge says, oh, your foundation was not so good, they don't mean you didn't do a boogaloo walkout. They mean the way you did a boogaloo walkout was not honest to yourself. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the way the other guy did it. Was he understands it so well that he doesn't just look like Boogaloo Sam when he does it. He looks like himself when he does it. You know what I mean?
And it fits into the style. It doesn't look out of place.
Yeah, exactly. So I think when a judge says, oh, your foundation is not good enough, it's easy to get annoyed. That's something that people often get annoyed about. Like, oh, the judges didn't know what they were talking about. Like, they said I just needed to work on my foundation. Like, what does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. I think what that means is you don't understand the dance enough yet to apply yourself to it in the correct way. Like, you don't look as comfortable within yourself in the style.
Yeah. Like, I've judged like hip hop battles where the people were doing like more like, let's say, like social dance steps than I've ever done in a battle, but they're doing it. Yeah, they're doing 4 counts of Running Man, then they change to 4 counts of this, 4 counts of this, and it's like, foundation, but you don't know foundation. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you can list me off these moves, but it's not integrated into your style because you just did me like a routine of these different moves.
In a way, that's even worse because it's like that's not even knowing foundation. That's like such a basic level of like the Running Man, and then that's
you're just
rubbish.
Trying to tick
That's
a box.
like if I just did Fresno walkout boogaloo roll, like,
and then say like I know my foundation. It's like,
no, you don't.
Yeah, it's like you know foundations, but you don't know how to use them.
You're not even. Yeah, you're not changing. You've not varied one of those things. Yeah. You're just doing the basic thing that you've been taught in class. Like you've not even explored the foundation enough to change one of those steps.
It's kind of like, when people hear a big word and they don't quite know how to use it and they just use it in random sentences.
That's such a good
It's
analogy.
Like, do you have a lot of vocab, or are you smart, or are you just repeating a big word that you heard?
It's just jargon, like, it's just thrown in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, if actually I don't know if you feel like this, but I feel like the most intelligent people tend to not really use loads of big, elongated, like jargony words. They just kind of talk normally because they know their subject so well. Like, if you hear like Neil deGrasse Tyson or Brian Cox talk about science,
you can understand it.
Yeah. They're just saying like, hey, look, there's a bunch of stuff inside the thing and it just breaks apart and then this happens. It's like, if they're talking in that context, cool. But it's like, it's so natural knowledge to them that they're like, yeah, it's just like this. You don't need to talk about
it's academia, isn't it? But do you know what? Like, so my dad is like a international relations lecturer, right?
Oh, sick.
So and he's
what's international relations?
Good question.
Like, as in like UN stuff, like between
that
countries?
kind of thing, and how it mainly, I think, how it affects the environment. And that kind of thing. But he's like an academic, so that kind of language he understands. He like the books he's reading. I'm like,
yeah, what does any of this mean?
The UN's institutional relationship to something volume 4, and I'm like, what the hell is this? But when his stuff that he writes, I can understand it,
right?
Because it's just like he's talking, Yeah. But there is this this happens in dance so much, especially in the contemporary world. There's this like there's this need to like overcomplicate everything. Like everything is suddenly this mad theory of like, if you hear some contemporary choreographers talk, you're like, what the fuck did you just say? It's like, I don't know. I've seen some dire contemporary dance at the theater, right? Some awful shit.
Yeah.
And like the blurb on the what do you call it? It's like, this is exploration into the realization of masculinity and its
You know,
depths of
my favorite phrase is like the exploration of the body in space. It's like,
so someone danced in space.
but like, and then they add stuff for flavor, like the exploration of the body in outdoor space, and it's
Yeah,
like,
you know, so someone else outside.
it's like you haven't said anything, but you've just used big words.
Exactly. And bro, this happens so much.
Yeah.
And you know, like how many people, like, I don't want to name any names, but how many people like get paid, you know, to make work like this.
Yeah.
And
100%.
And I think the problem is that a lot of contemporary dance gets made for like a certain audience, which is the same audience, which is also aspiring dancers and choreographers that want to watch and do the same work. So like people go and watch a show with a man for 30 minutes screaming and like smashing plates and shit, and it's like, this is I don't know, a male performer experiencing the three and it's some huge huge concept, and you're like, okay, but what actually happened? Like someone smashed plates.
Yeah, exactly. And what techniques and like did you use? I don't know. It's
not even that, but just I watched it and I was bored.
Yeah, 100%.
So like, but there's this huge market of it, and if you enjoy something and you don't enjoy like, it's subjective, right?
Sure.
So if you enjoy something like that, then fair play. I will not touch it. You enjoyed it, like it did its job, even if it's one person. You know, it's worth existing if one person enjoyed it. But like, I went through a phase of being really frustrated at going to the theater, because I was just like, none of this is good. Like none of I don't see dance often that's good. I see like 90% of it's awful, you know, and that's such a shame, because I actually think that like the battle circuit, the level of dance that there is in the battle circuit, if it was in the theater, it's over. It's seriously over.
Yeah.
Like the high level of contemporary, like Hofesh, Akram Khan, like, Sharon Yao, like this is crazy. It's amazing to watch. Or Rombe, like watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But when you get to like
mid-level
stuff, most of it's rubbish. I'm not gonna lie. That's just my
no. But
opinion.
you know what? I think it's really good that you say that, because you're in that world. You've studied. You perform and work in that world. And I think my problem with the arts, aside from what you just said, is also that so many people are made to feel like they don't know what they're talking about.
Yes.
They sit in the audience and they're like, well, I didn't study this. Everyone else is clapping, so maybe I'm wrong. And it's like, no, you're not. Like everyone else is just going along with what they think how they should react. And not every time, but a lot of times you're right. Like if you're bored, you're right.
Exactly.
You know?
If you didn't enjoy it, you didn't enjoy it.
Bro, I find myself, and I get angry almost, but like I find myself questioning myself when I go to the theater and I watch stuff and I'm bored, right? And I'm like not only have I been doing this for 15 years, not contemporary, but like I've been in the dance world. I've studied dance, like contemporary stuff, not to as high level as you did, but I went to college and did it. I've done street dance and looked, and the way I break down, I love analyzing choreography. I've like, in a real sense, like I have a good standing in this industry. And why am I questioning myself to go, oh, maybe I'm bored because I don't know what I'm talking about? And then I'm like, yes, you do. Like this environment is making you question yourself, and it's like you shouldn't. And even if somebody has less experience than me, it's like even if you don't know what you're talking about, your experience as an audience member is still valid. You were bored and you paid a ticket to go here, so something didn't work.
That's what I was just about to say. Like I even think, because I think you may have said it on the podcast before, someone on the podcast, but like there's this. It's probably to do with Red Bull actually, but there's this like weird thing that we have, especially with top stars, like not breaking, that like the only way a battle's going to be fair is if a judge that knows popping is going to like vote either way. And I give people more credit in my opinion. Think about before you danced, when you watched something that you liked it. Yeah. We can tell when someone has trained and someone has not trained. Yeah. If I show my mum, you know, Salah versus like me as a kid, she's gonna be like, well, Salah's better. She knows. She doesn't. She's not danced. She's not. You know, she's not trained, but she knows that Salah's better because she can see that Salah has trained more. And I do think that we give people less credit than they deserve of like just the blind eye, what's the word, like the
untrained
punter.
eye.
Untrained eye. That's the word. Untrained eye. Like we give that less credit than it deserves. Like sometimes I think they actually have a better idea of what like is actually visceral.
Do you know the expression like you can't see the forest for the trees?
No.
It's like you're looking for the forest, but there's so many trees in your way you can't find the forest. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
It's kind of like
I
that.
hear
It's
you.
like we're so in the scene, and we understand all the stuff. We can't actually step back and just be like, oh yeah, they're better, because we're
Yeah.
like, no, but maybe there's a technique, and maybe there's like a this, and you know,
Yeah, but they had groove and found that whatever
Yeah.
you were gonna say. But then someone's just like, no, he did a flip.
yeah, and then you step back, and, yeah, or it's just like, yeah, but they're just way better. And then
They
you
just
just step back
are.
and forget all your training, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, they are actually way better.
Exactly. and I do think that there's like a weird, because this does happen in the contemporary circuit as well. There's this weird like, people are like, oh well, it's just a shame because the audience just didn't appreciate it. It's like, maybe you were just rubbish. And,
Bro.
like maybe you just weren't good. Like
Yeah.
the audience didn't appreciate it. Well, any audience, if in my opinion, if for my shows anyway, if I'm gonna make something, everyone has to like it. Like
Yeah.
it has to be good enough that even if you didn't like dance, you're gonna be like, well, that was really cool,
I
like,
feel
interesting
the
what you
same.
did there.
Yeah.
I can't have people being like, I can't just be like, oh, they didn't appreciate it. No.
Because then it's like it's hard, because it's like what is the point of what you're doing? Is it not to perform for an audience? And if so, if the audience didn't appreciate what you made, maybe the best, if I'm trying to play the devil's advocate, is like maybe you found the wrong audience and the mistake was in the marketing and you didn't bring the right audience, right? But it's like me and you talking and me speaking in French to you and you going, I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm like, he doesn't understand. It's like, well, speak to him in like, or find someone that speaks French, or teach you French before you like. If you're trying to communicate something to people, you're trying to make them feel something or whatever. It's like, for me, we're having a long debate about this with Jenny, because you know she works in like theatre, and she works with Farouk, who
Farouk,
yeah, she's like Farouk's associate producer.
Oh, cool.
So she like really knows her shit in terms of the production side of it. We were having a long debate about it the other day over coffee, because I was saying, like, I don't think objectively there's such thing as a good show or a bad show.
Yeah, of course not.
You can't say like, is this piece good? Like, you can have
Is
the
it?
most
Yeah.
trained dance in the world, but it's only based on the reaction. And I think what you can say is a piece effective? So if you spent 3 weeks making this piece, blah, blah, and everyone in the audience hated it, it might be a good show, but it was an ineffective show, because the audience didn't get anything from it. If it was like, or, you know, you could have just thrown together a piece of crap that you're like, this is terrible, but the audience love it. It's like, well, it had an effect. So
Yeah.
I guess that's a good, like, I think it's more worth judging how the audience felt than it is about the quality of the show. Because then you get what you just said, which is like, oh, the audience didn't appreciate me. And it's like, okay. So with a subjective art form, doesn't that mean your show was bad? Do you know what I mean? Like, what other way is there to put that? Like,
Yeah.
the audience didn't like my show. Like, it's like, oh, my customers don't like my ice cream.
Well, maybe it doesn't taste good.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the point of ice cream if it's not to be tasted? I don't know.
And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not, because people are gonna get annoyed at me now. But like, let's say you perform in front of a bunch of conservatives that
Sure.
they actively say that they don't like dance. Chances are they're gonna be switched off to it, and
Sure,
they're not
of
gonna
course.
like it. So fair enough if they didn't appreciate
Yeah.
it. But personally, I think I hear too much of that
Yeah.
in the dance.
Like,
And
it's almost like the judges didn't understand my style. It's
the
like an
same.
excuse, yeah.
See, it's the same.
Well, like, I
it's the
got
same
robbed or something.
arguments.
It's like,
yeah, like, oh, like they just don't understand I'm ahead of the game.
yeah.
Whatever. So I don't know, but I think it's cool that we're starting to see like more that the theatre sector kind of opening up more for the scene in
Agreed.
this way, because I genuinely think like I went to see the Rugged show in
Yeah.
where was it in
In
Holborn?
Peacock?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peacock Theatre. Crazy, like
Dope.
that is better than most contemporary dance shows I've been to. I'm not gonna lie, it just is.
It's
It
just
is
enjoyable.
better.
It's just plain good old fashioned enjoyable.
It
Like,
was amazing to watch. You know,
I
it was
laughed,
funny.
it was exciting.
It was funny.
Yeah.
It was whatever. Like I got everything that I would have paid. I didn't pay for the ticket.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
would have paid for a ticket.
For
You know.
sure.
But I've been to shows when I've been like, I wish I didn't pay money to
Yeah.
see that, and that's
100%.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone should ever feel that. You know,
Bro,
going
I
to the
spoke
theatre.
about this before about it being like, in a way, like a kind of cult. Like, because you've like paid to get in, you feel like, well, I have to say
say
that.
something good about it.
Yeah, like, because otherwise you're an idiot who didn't pay.
Yeah, you have to be like, oh, it was really I don't know, visceral. There was some really stagnant moments, and it was like, and it's this jargon thing, like people were just throwing words out there,
Yeah, it's
just
like,
sound
so
intelligent.
you were bored.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Or like, it's the same thing in like modern art and that,
Yeah.
when people go like spend hours like watching it like a blank canvas, and they're like, I don't know, it's just made me feel like, and it's like, well, you're just trying to sound clever, like it's just a blank. That's all it is. It's blank.
Yeah, and you can be like, I love it because it's a blank canvas. It's cool. It's a really cool idea. Fine. Or you can be like, I fucking hate it. Like, it's up to you,
Yeah.
Like, but let's not pretend it's not what it is,
Exactly.
Like, did you hear about the thing of how much time do we have? Did you hear about the thing about the artist that the gallery gave him like a bunch, is like 100 grand or something mad in cash because he was gonna make an art piece out of this cash. Did you hear about this or no?
No, I don't think so.
And he the camera just, and we'll wrap up soon, people listening. But he basically they gave him this cash because he was going to make an art piece out of it, and then he when he was supposed to deliver the art piece, it was just an empty box. And he wrote on a little plaque like that he had changed the name to take the money and run.
That's smart.
And it's like, he was like, the art is the fact that I just took the money and ran. And it's like, by all of your fucking rules, that is art. Like, don't you dare say that that's not art after all the shit you make us like,
like blank canvases and shit. Like,
yeah,
fair play, yeah.
It's like, by all the rules of the art world, that's art. It was a performative art, blah, 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 whatever. If Banksy did that, you'd love it,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think it's really that. And it's almost like, I feel like, what you're saying about the theatre world opening up. I think it's almost like an Emperor's New Clothes type of situation where it's like, it just takes the one hip hop dancer to walk in and go, yo, this is really boring.
Yeah.
And then everyone is like, oh, it is kind of boring. Like, oh my God, I've never been allowed to think that before.
That's why it's good, man. I do, there's still a way to go, because I still think sometimes it pisses me off. I don't know if you've watched like any of Botus's work, like Far From the Norm, right?
I've seen some bits. I haven't seen the full length Black Dog. I just saw an extract from it.
But say Black Dog, take that as an example. Even if you've just seen the extract, that's dance, right?
Yeah,
like I wouldn't even call that hip hop theater. That word kind of pisses me off, but like that's just dance.
Yeah.
But it kind of always gets branded as this like it's called hip hop theater. Like Breaking Convention is like the best hip hop theater show you can see. It's like, it's a dance show. Like why isn't it respected as the same as what Hofesh is? As Akram,
this was my question to John Z when we did the podcast. I get his take on it. His take is like, it's about acknowledging where it came from. Is like, it's based on like hip hop and we're this thing, whereas like, you might have I don't know, does Matthew Bourne still call his stuff ballet? Probably.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, even though he could just be like, I'm just Matthew Bourne, like he's almost like transcended ballet in a way. Like he's so famous. He's like, well, we don't want to do that and just erase all the roots of the culture. We want to acknowledge, we're from this culture, which I get, but I was also on your kind of wave. Like the way you're speaking is like how I think is like, why do we need to say that it's like hip hop theater? And it's like, it is a marketing tool in the end of the day. It will get more people in the theater if it's marketed as that. But yeah, it's like, if people can do just random movements, it's like these things are like so removed from the culture. It's like, it's just dance. It's just good dance, let's just let it be that.
Well, I do understand that.
There's two
I've not
sides.
heard that podcast, so maybe I need to go listen.
I'll send you the clip, but like he broke it down way better than I'm breaking it down right now.
No, it is interesting. But then sometimes I feel like it's used as a word, kind of a bit like the word urban in the music industry, right? It's kind of just like, but this is just pop music. Like, this is just good music.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the lines get a bit weird here and there, especially with work like Botus's work, I think, because it's like they've kind of got their own thing going on, really. Like, it's got crump elements here and there, and you could probably, but it's quite Photo Dixon, for example. Like, he uses pop and stuff, but he's doing his own thing.
It's just different,
It's just really different. So the fact that stuff still kind of gets called hip hop theater,
I'd be interested to know whether Botus or like any of those guys want to be called, because I know, like, having spoke to John Z, I know that he wants it to be called hip hop theater. I wonder if Botus feels, what I mean, if he's like, no, I like being called hip hop, or if he's like, nah. Because when I spoke to Marion,
I think so,
Maton,
yeah.
French, like, she was saying she doesn't call herself like she's just like I'm just a choreographer,
Mhm.
and like people will label me depending on what the show is. It might be like Marion, the contemporary choreographer, Marion, the hip hop dancer, but it's like it depends on how they want to market it. But yeah, she's like I never called myself a hip hop theater. I just called myself a choreographer, which that's kind of how I would do it as well. I'm like,
Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear
Yeah.
that.
but I guess it's a bit different maybe with a culture that's maybe not underrepresented, but kind of. Do you know what I mean? Like the people are underrepresented, and it's like
for the amount of talent in the industry, it's crazily underrepresented. In my opinion, it's crazily underrepresented.
so I get maybe people wanting to hold on to it and really fly that flag when they're in those worlds and be like, no, I'm from this
Which
culture.
that also makes a whole ton of sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there is like a legacy that we need to recognize. You know
Sure.
where this comes from. That's really important.
Yeah. No, but I hear you on both sides, man. This like I wish we started this arts conversation earlier because I could talk about this for years.
We talked about Red Bull for like 50 minutes.
Yeah,
Just talked
No, I
about
thought it's fair because
me
I
losing.
Just
I was just annoyed that I lost. So we spoke about.
I talked to Jordan about it, and I was like, all right, let me give Max a chance to say that Jordan sucks. No, I'm joking. No, yeah. So anyway, we'll wrap up there because I had a bit of technical difficulties and the cameras died like it used to, but it won't be like that every week. So apologies, guys. If anyone wants to sponsor me or hire me for this podcast, then these technical difficulties will magically go away because your boy's running all of this on his own. So it's hard to be a producer and an interviewer and a dancer and everything. But yeah, dope for coming through. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Always. Big up for doing it, man.
Oh, thank you, bro.
A big hold in the, for me anyway, it's like a big part of the scene that's like, it's cool to see. It's nice if there's like a little wrap up at the end of the week and whatever. This is like a cool platform, man. So
thanks so much. Like,
keep doing it, you know.
Bro, you don't know how much that means. That means to, because it's like it's not fucking easy to do this, especially like alongside trying to be a freelance dancer.
Yeah,
so it's
of course,
like,
man.
or
But
freelance artist, I guess. So just those little moments of people being like, nah, like it's good, like we need it. I'm like, all right, fucking better do next week's one then. You know, like it's just I'm always feel like I'm on the verge of giving up, and then someone writes me a message or calls me or something, and I'm like, all right, you got one more week in you, let's go.
Yeah, well, I keep sending it in there because I do think you'll see the fruits of it as well. Like
I think it's also consistency and trust. Like no product's built overnight, so I've got to just keep going, bro. You know what gassed me? Actually, I have to say is when you lost at Red Bull, and then you were like, in case anyone's wondering how Red Bull went, and you shared a clip on your Insta story of. And not something me talking about something that the create battle like the other week, and I had said Max did really good but he didn't win, and you shared that and you're like, this is how Red Bull went, and bro, it gassed me because I was like, oh, you're kind of like using it as like a meme.
That was my girlfriend told me to do that actually.
Really?
She was like, because she said it, we were on the train back and she was like, how did Rebel go? And then she was like, Max did well but he didn't win, and I laughed so much. I was like, I'm doing that right now, that's too funny,
bro. That gassed me so much, man, because it's like, I don't know, it's just like, oh, people are listening and engaging with the shit. So it just makes me super happy that it's like, yeah, becoming part of the scene and becoming part of.
Yeah, but keep doing it, man, because I think we need it, and we need it overseas as well eventually, you know.
Bro, that's in the plans as well, man. As soon as I can, I want to start traveling. There's some people in Paris I want to speak to, and I want to do a few. Like, I think the capsule thing and me doing the capsule, I want to keep about the UK, and it's like for us, but the podcast is like whoever, and I think we can learn from a lot of different people. So yeah, fingers crossed, man. I just got to build. I got to be smart about how I do it, try and make it sustainable, try and make some money off it, and yeah, I'll be able to do a lot more once I do. But yeah, anyway, this isn't about me. Let me tell you all my plans for the next 2 years while we're here.
About me.
Yeah, I invited you here just to talk about my podcast. No, but thanks for being here, man. I super appreciate it. And like I say to everyone, but it's like the fact of you coming here, like we could do this on Zoom, but I hate Zoom because it's like the fact of
dead.
Yeah, and like you coming here for 2 hours is like a huge compliment. It's like you took time out of your evening to travel here, do this for me.
Man, it's all good.
So I really appreciate it, man. And it's always nice chats and good to get to know you a bit more, even though we spoke in Birmingham and stuff. And yeah, man. What else? Like, is there anything coming up that you're doing that you want to talk about or like tell everyone about or anything?
I should have wrote a list on my phone. What do I want to talk about?
I don't know, like any like workshops or anything coming up.
Do you know what things at the moment? I've got a lot of rehearsals, so
yeah,
it's all looking a bit mad like that.
Just head down and
just training, man. That's how it's gonna be. The show premieres, Jungle Book Reimagined premieres in Leicester on the 2nd of April. So
And you're going to be a part of that with is Akram Khan Company?
yeah. Akram Khan Company and the Curve Leicester. That's where we're gonna premiere, and then we'll go everywhere, I imagine. So
Sick. I'll try and catch it. Are you coming through London, do you think?
we will, but we don't come to London for a while. I don't think. We
Okay.
start out of London, and
Yeah, and then travel.
we'll make our way.
All right.
But yeah, get tickets if you can. That'll be
Yeah, I'll definitely catch it if it's in London. That'd be cool.
yeah for sure.
All right. Well, thank you for coming through. Thanks everyone for listening. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We'll get there one day.
I'm sorry about my voice as well. I don't have COVID. This is a cold.
Yeah.
I don't have COVID. I've tested.
We're gonna see on your Insta story in like two days or something like
everyone
yeah,
get tested.
quarantine. Yeah. Oh fuck! I hope it doesn't happen. Now. We're laughing about
trust
it.
me, I've done tests. Don't worry.
That's all good. I've double vaccinated and I've got the antibodies, so I'm triple protected.
Same.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Check out at thecapsule.ldn, which is the Instagram platform, and then the capsule on YouTube. This will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the podcast platforms. But you know that if you're listening already. And check out the Capsule podcast, where I kind of wrap up everything that has happened that I'm aware of in the week. And we've got a few more interviews. I don't like calling them interviews. A few more podcasts coming between now and Christmas, so I'm excited about those. And yeah, thanks everyone for rocking with me this far. And I don't have anything else to say. Do you?
Keep that. No, I'm joking.
All right, peace, guys. Bye.